Hey guys, Shadow here, and this is a bit different for me. Yes, I got a haircut, first of all, but second of all, yeah, I'm doing green screen for once. I don't think it looks that bad. And as the green screen says, Spider-Man Homecoming, whichever side it's on. I'm gonna be reviewing Spider-Man Homecoming. I saw it like a week ago or two. I don't remember. I saw it twice, and I loved it. It was great, but I'm obviously going to say that because I love Spider-Man so much. But, yeah, it's a bit weird doing a review because I don't usually do it. But enough talking. Let's just get on to it. And I'm not going to be able to do my normal editing things, so this is going to be all in one take. So here we go. I have some stuff written in my notebook. So, we're going to start off with the stuff I liked. Tom Holland, he did a great performance. I loved him as Spider-Man and Peter Parker, especially Peter Parker. He did really good at the role. He he showed off that like the nerd and the awesome superhero, and I loved his performance. He actually felt like a kid, like a teenager, um, and like it's not like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. They were like almost they're in their mid-20s when they were playing Spider-Man. And they're supposed to be playing like a 16-year-old. Tom Holland's 20, so he's pretty much really close to Spider-Man's age. And he looks the part, and he really sounds like he's a kid, because he's got like a young voice. So yeah, I really like Tom Holland's performance in this movie. Yes. Okay, next, Michael Keaton's Vulture. I love Michael Keaton. He's amazing. I loved him in the Batman movies. Um, and I think he did great as the Vulture. I loved him in the role. It was so good. Um, he actually felt really intimidating. Like, it's the first time in a while that a Spider-Man villain actually intimidated me. Because most of them, they're kind of over the top, but entertaining. The Vulture was actually, like, I felt, like, fear, which is really good. And I feel like part of that was Michael Keaton's performance, because without Michael Keaton, I feel like you wouldn't get Vulture like as good as he was in the movie. So yeah, Michael Keaton, amazing in the film. What's next? Oh yeah, um, so I really like the high school stuff. So obviously, I'm not in high school. I'm going to 8th grade when school starts. So I don't know what high school feels like, but I know what school feels like. It's annoying, especially when you're a nerd. But I really liked it because it felt like it felt like a school, and like everyone felt like kids. And the thing I like is that this school's for like really smart people. So everyone at that school is smart, but it's a different like different types of people, which I really think is cool. Because in the original Spider-Man, you've got like Flash Thompson. He's like the jock, and like he's the bully to Peter. Well, yeah, obviously Flash Thompson's always going to be a bully to Peter Parker. He's smart here because of the school, type of school he goes to. So I think that's really interesting, and I think that's a really cool idea to be. So it's like everyone's similar, but they're still very different. Next. Oh, so I felt like the comedy in this movie was holy crap. This movie is actually really funny. So it's like a teen comedy essentially. Um, so I feel like most the comedic things come from Peter's friend Ned Leeds. Jeez, it's hilarious. So there's a bunch of funny scenes with Ned, and the movie's just funny in general. So I feel like it's one of the funnier Marvel movies. That was a very short segment. I didn't know how to carry that on, but another thing I like about the film is that while the other Spider-Man movies, sure, it's Spider-Man, and it kind of feels like the comics, this movie felt like it was ripped out of those early Spider-Man comics. And I love that. Like, I feel like that's amazing that that they were able to do that to make it feel like it was part of those Spider-Man comics. So I really like that. So this may be kind of controversial, and this is not a spoiler because they showed it in the trailers. So this may be controversial, but I kind of like the Stark tech in the movie. Now, a lot of people don't because they're like, Spider-Man should not have all this tech, because he's poor and stuff, which I agree with. But I like the suit. Like, I think it's cool. And I'm glad they didn't overdo it, like, full-on tech. Because it still feels like it's Spider-Man's costume, which I like. So, Spider-Man has this Jarvis-esque type thing in his suit, named Karen. I liked. I think also pretty sure the girl voiced Karen also was in one of the Hulk movies. I think it was Ang Lee's, or no, I think it was one of the Hulk movies, the Ang Lee one or the 2008 one. I know Betty Ross, she was the voice for Karen, I think. But I really liked her in the movie because in the comics, Spider-Man's when he's web swinging, he's gonna be talking to himself or thinking to himself, and that's kind of hard to do in movies. So I feel it's cool to do because Karen can be talking to Peter while he's swinging, and he could be talking to her. I just really like that. Also, I like the idea of different webs. I think that's really cool because like you've got your normal web, your taser web. I just think that's really cool. It's a cool idea, and I really like it. So, alright, here's where I get into spoiler territory. If you have not seen the movie, click off this video right now, because I do not want to spoil it for you, unless you really don't care about spoilers. So, spoiler warning. And I'm going to start spoiling stuff in 3, 2, 1. Alright. So, there's this scene where after Tony Stark takes Peter's suit away, Peter's like, you know, I'm just going to try living like a normal life as a high schooler. And he asks Liz Allen to Homecoming. And he's getting ready, and there's this cute montage where Aunt May's helping him with stuff. And then they pull up to Liz's house, and he knocks on the door. And then the door opens, and it's the Vulture, Michael Keaton. And I'm pretty sure everyone's initial reaction was, "Holy crap! He has them hostage?" And then you kind of realize, wait, oh my, that's her dad. Yes, Michael Keaton plays Liz Allen's dad, and it was so, like, oh, that scene was amazing. It's a mixture of tension, comedy, and just, wow, it's like a perfect mixture. And, like, I genuinely felt nervous during that scene. Because Peter keeps on glancing, because he knows who the Vulture is, but the Vulture doesn't know who Spider-Man is, or Peter, who he is. So Peter keeps on glancing, and he's like, "Are you okay? You look a little pale," and stuff. And, so, the Vulture, Michael Keaton, he's like, "Alright, I'll drive you there." And he's driving them in the car, and Peter's all nervous, and Liz is, like, talking to Peter and her dad. And then, the Vulture, he's like, I seen you from somewhere, like, your voice sounds familiar and stuff. And Liz is giving him information like, yeah, Peter, you weren't there, and, like, when you were gone, Spider-Man came, and, like, the Vulture's putting it together, and he eventually finds out Peter's Spider-Man, which I think that's awesome, because it's so easy. How could you not figure that out? Like, whenever Peter Parker disappears, Spider-Man comes, and whenever Spider-Man disappears, Peter Parker shows up. And I like how they actually were just like, see, you can figure that out. It's not that hard. And when they pull up to the school, the Vultures, he's like, okay, I'm gonna have the dad talk with him. So she leaves the car, and then he grabs a gun, and he's like sitting there, and he's talking Peter, like, does she know? Know what? Good. And he's like talking to Peter, and the tension in that scene was so, that scene is amazing. I think that's like probably my favorite or one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's really good. And they're just talking like, stay out of my business or else I'll kill you and everyone you love. And then Peter leaves, gets out the car, and Peter has a choice. Go stop the vulture or staying, like, give Liz a good time. Like, how at the homecoming dance. And Peter's like, I have to go, you don't deserve this, and he runs in the school. And his locker, I like how he hides his costume, his homemade suit in the locker. So he lifts the locker up, grabs his suit, and runs out. He's putting it on. He leaves the door, boom, shocker hits him. And then they have this fight. So, yeah, I love the car scene. I think that scene is great. It is amazing. It's definitely one of the best scenes in the MCU, if you ask me. So, next. Alright, so I like the idea of, so when Tony Stark takes away Peter's suit, it's because he was kind of reckless with it. And, he was being irresponsible with it. So Peter then, around the end of the movie, he gets his homemade suit. And I like the idea of it because, like, it teaches Peter a lesson. And I like, because if you don't like the Stark Tech in the suit, then there you go, here's normal Spider-Man. And I like how he didn't have to rely on the Stark Tech when he was wearing his homemade suit. It was on him. And he had to beat the Vulture by himself. And I really like that. Because that's Spider-Man. He may not have all the tech, but he can figure it out on his own. So, now we're moving on to the cons of the, movie. Which aren't a lot, but I still have a few, because no movie's perfect. So, one that kind of bothered me is that they never mentioned Uncle Ben. Like, obviously, I don't want to see Uncle Ben's death again. I'm glad they didn't do it. I'm glad it's just a Spider-Man movie. But I feel like you could have at least mentioned the guy once. There's only one scene where it's like, after everything, after Ned finds out who Peter is, he's like, you can't tell Aunt May because, after everything she's been through. And let's just say you're the one person in the world who knows nothing about Spider-Man, and you're going to be like, okay, well, maybe I can learn something from this movie. You don't know why he's Spider-Man or anything. Which I feel like they could have cleared up a little bit, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad they didn't do the origin again or tell him why. So, I'm kind of mixed on it, but I kind of wish they just did something a little more with Uncle Ben. Next, when I watched the movie, like the second time, I kind of noticed something. It doesn't look like Peter's doing this because he learned responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. It kind of just seems like he's doing it for fun. Which kind of bothered me, because Spider-Man's whole thing is that he learned responsibility and he fights because he's Spider-Man. He learned that responsibility. And watching the movie, it kind of just seems like he's having fun. He does it for fun more, which kind of bothered me. Alright, this one's kind of a nitpick, but still kind of bothered me. The CGI looked weird at times. Like, it looked off. Like, I feel like this was one of the Marvel movies where the CG just did not look too, like, as good as the other movies. I don't know if it's the budget or anything, but the CG just didn't look too good. Like, especially, the plane scene. So, at the final fight on the plane, that scene just looked really weird. Just the CGI looked really off to me. And so did the Spider-Man suit. Like, at times. My final con is the final fight was okay. It was decent, but it could have been better. And the thing that really annoyed me is that, so Spider-Man's on a plane, the Vulture's stealing this tech from the plane, and the plane eventually crashes, and it's crashing near an amusement park. And they never fought at the amusement park. They just fought on the beach. Which, imagine how cool that would have been. There's no other superhero who could, like, have a better fight scene at an amusement park. Because he could have been sticking onto roller coasters and jumping around. That would have been so cool. But what we did get wasn't too bad. But it could have been much better. But yeah, that's my review of Spider-Man Homecoming. And just, out of total, I would probably give this movie a 9 out of 10. Because, I tried to fight off my urge just to be, just because I love Spider-Man. And I tried to fight off the urge just to not be biased. But, just in my heart, I feel like this movie gets a 9 out of 10. It's fantastic. It has great comedy, Tom Holland's performance, everything. I just love this film, and I highly recommend it. If you have not seen this movie, go check it out. It is great, and I highly recommend it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this different type of video. I hope you guys enjoy these reviews, and if you want to see more reviews, put it in the comments below. And yeah, tell me what you guys thought of Spider-Man Homecoming in the comments below. Other than that, I'm going to shout out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.